I did it. Okay, wonderful. The recording has started. I'm going to press share screen, share screen, share desk, Google Chrome naming workshop. Can you see my slide deck here? It should say Hilo Reusable Foodware System Toolkit Release and Naming Workshop. Do you see that on your end?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. And we're off. So my name is Kule. I am the cultural specialist slash advisor for Zero Waste Hawaii Island. Just giving my aloha to each of you and my thanks. Thank you for being here. And if I can manage to get to the next slide, that would be ideal. Hmm. Okay, maybe just one slide today. No. Okay, let me try this again. Sorry.
Hmm.
Oh, I haven't I'm so grateful that our partners Autumn and Ellie folks, they do a lot of the slide development. So I'm just rusty in this area, but let me just try this again. If I close this. I'm gonna edit this part of the recording. I'm gonna cut this out.
Hey, cool. I just wanted to jump in and mention that if you'd like to send me the link, I can try to share my screen and see if that works.
Okay, okay, maybe that'll work. Let's see. Share. Let me see. Wait, I think it might just be easier for me to do it. Maybe. Mm, Maybe now you can see my entire screen. Do you see the slideshow now?
There we go. Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Awesome. Here we are, and we're off. My name is Kule, and I am the cultural specialist slash advisor for Zero Waste Hawaii Island, and I'm here to share a little bit about the Hilo Reusable Foodware System, the toolkit release, and the naming workshop. So here we're going to do a short review on who we are, present some updates about the system, present the toolkit, market insights, and then we'll do breakout groups. But I think because there's so few of us here, we can just stay in the one group and have the discussion as a whole. Our mission at Zero Waste Hawaii Island is to engage diverse Hawaii Island communities to achieve zero waste. We hope to do that by creating more opportunities for Kanaka Aina Akua leadership through the restoration of family systems, community systems, and equitable policy. Kanaka Aina Akua, just as a side note, it means humans, land, and nature. Like, so there's the land itself, and then there's the natural phenomena of each individual element, but it looks like the reestablishment of the connection that humans have to land through these things. Our values as an organization include individual wellness, environmental accountability, interconnectedness, family engagement, community difference, and governance through civic engagement. So that's a little bit about our foundations. This is a wonderful, beautiful photo of our team. So we have Jen, Paul, I think Paul and Ellen are here today. Yuko, Tallchief, Comet, Devin, and Paula. This is what we look like as a team. So the system, for those of us who have not yet heard of our reusable foodware system, this is how it works. So first, you would walk into a food establishment and look for the reusable dish. You would then check out a container, kind of like you would a library book. You would enjoy your meal wherever it be your home or your car or the beach or wherever. You would drop off your container into a bin. The containers would be collected in the bin, returned to the wash and dry facility, and then redistributed to the food establishment. And again, like I said a little bit earlier before we started the recording, the revenue is generated by the businesses who will pay per reuse versus purchasing additional disposable foodware. So that's the system that we hope to establish in Hilo. And we've done some work in community engagement. We received some funding. So the EPA's Solid Waste Recycling Infrastructure Grant included a $1.5 million award to the county. But this award is specifically to support the infrastructure, so the trucks and the transport vehicles, return bins, dishwasher, and tracking technology for the pins, for the like the items themselves. And tracking technology doesn't mean like GPS tracking device. It just means like something we might be able to keep track of the containers with. We also received a pollution prevention grant or environmental justice through safer and more sustainable products. We were able to, um, this funding would allow us to provide technical assistance to enable businesses to make the transition to the reuse system, but also to work with schools who might be interested in using reusable foodware in their programming. And we're pending the award of this climate pollution reduction grant. So $2 million would be awarded to the county, which would fund additional infrastructure, containers, leasing of commercial space, and a reuse extension agent for 5 years. Recently, the President of the United States ordered or like released an executive order that programs related to diversity, equity, and inclusion may become like defunded slash canceled. So I think there was a period of time since the inauguration and since the beginning of this term where we felt as a team that we may have to pause some of our work at some point. But at this point, I believe the executive order may have been rescinded. But some of our work is dependent on some of that as we're an environmental justice um,
Very.
organization and we care about the earth. So um, but so anyway, that's just a caveat to share about where we're at with that. So far, the community engagement phase of our work has completed in the ways that we've been able to meet with 38 stakeholders and potential partners. We had 22 events engaging approximately 726 community members, and that engagement resulted in the Hopena, or the kind of the result that if reusable foodware was available, folks would prefer to eat and drink out of that durable cup and container rather than disposable ones. So now we're in the RFP phase where we are working with the county to put out a request for proposal when it comes to becoming a system operator for the program. And once that system operator is identified, we'll set the system up and we hope to launch by late 2025. And that's kind of the timeline that we're looking at this time. So, um, something that I wanted to share before we go into the toolkit, to conclude this kind of community update section of the presentation, is that Zero Waste Hawaii Island understands, because of some of the community feedback, that in order for some kind of system to work in the Hilo community, because this system is specific to Hilo, there has to be some level of community buy-in and community engagement and community interest. And so we're also working to do land-based curriculum through an Aloha Aina project that we are going to start shortly. We just got the funding to be able to facilitate workshops for students and also families to learn how to connect deeply to our food systems so that they can get excited about environmental work, so that they can get excited about the reusable foodware project and system in affection for our Ainaloha, our beloved land. So really to make those connections. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of work that's done, and this presentation is just to share some updates about where we are now. So
Mm,
part of the oh, does anyone have any questions before I move on?
no.
Maybe no. Awesome. Mahalo. So part of the work in our community engagement, um, part of our part of our work was to really consider folks that would not be able to come to our meetings. So those are houseless individuals, kupuna that are elderly that may not, show up to the community events. Also cultural stewards that are not really part of like maybe they live in other areas, and also people who have a close relationship to Pu'uanahulu. So Pu'uanahulu is the area or the ahupua'a that the landfill currently is in. So we
Mm,
were looking at consulting with lineal descendants of Pu'uanahulu and folks who have lived there for multiple generations to learn a little bit more about their relationship with Pu'uanahulu and also their perspective on reuse and also love of land. So we did these interviews. We did community interviews with folks like Pu'ule Kiakialani of Pu'uanahulu, also Uncle Kepa Mali, who is an he's done a lot of ethnographic work about the Pu'uanahulu area. We also interviewed Uncle Sam Kalua, who I think is here today.
yeah.
And instead of just compiling their reflections, this toolkit was created. So in these interviews, there was a lot of people who suggested that, hey, like there's not going to be people need to have an affection for their land and their themselves and their communities, and they need to be really kind of well in order for them to participate in any kind of extracurricular activity or system. So the toolkit was created to really look at how to address cultural systems of wellness that already include zero waste practices, and to look at how indigenous perspectives on zero waste can align with Euro-American ways of environmentalism. So I'm excited to just share a little bit about the toolkit here. Um, Oh, I'm just going to answer this question that came into my chat. Aloha, Tara. So Tara Rojas is also here, and Tara took this toolkit and is now using it in her classes. She's an instructor at Leeward Community College. And so aloha, Tara, and mahalo for joining us today. This presentation is not live, but it will be recorded, and so maybe we can share the link with you in the future if you want to review. So the toolkit, the I'm gonna exit out of here and see if I can open this toolkit here. Can you folks see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so this is the toolkit. This is Waste and Wellness, a cultural toolkit for zero waste initiatives in Hawaii. And again, this was inspired by the interviews that we've done with Uncle Sam and also Auntie Ku'ule and Uncle Kepa, and just some of the feedback that's come in through our community engagement process. So this is available for everyone, and I just encourage you to check it out. It's at the link. We can put the link in the chat or email you folks the link to the toolkit. So the first section is an introduction and an overview of the format. The second or the first content section is about our zero waste Hawaii's value that is related to individual wellness. Um, this quick links index is so helpful. It really, once you download the toolkit, you can open up each one of these resources to help folks. Again, the intention of this toolkit is to make people excited about land, excited about Hawaii, and excited about Hawaii cultural practices, and not just only ethnically Hawaiian people, but people who are close in affection to Hawaii, the place, to get folks excited about love of land, to get folks excited to use the system to reduce waste going to Pu'uanahulu. So that's the intention of the toolkit. But these are all of the tools that are available. There's a chore chart. So something that was suggested is that when, like this here, what this is not Pepsi, it's like water, but this trash is generated when we're in a rush. And when we're in a rush, sometimes it's because we don't have family support. Like if our keiki, who can definitely wash dishes, have kuleana to wash all of the ohana's water bottles so that it's
Yeah.
clean for the next day, then our ohana will be able to use reusable water bottles, and it will be just as convenient as picking up one of these disposable ones. So anyway, there's a chore chart to kind of increase the capacity that families have to support each other in general, while also increasing the capacity that families have to live zero waste lifestyles. That's why the chore chart is in there. Um, I'm gonna skim through this. You folks can look through it. Um, Kanaka, the value. You can look through these things. It's just meant to be a brief overview once this toolkit was completed. There is an old way of understanding like in the United States, they have this system of geolocation that is like country, state, city, town, street. You know, Hawaii, we have a land-based system of island, moku, like Hilo, Kona, Kohala, and then we have Ahupua'a, which are smaller land divisions. And knowing what Ahupua'a you're in allows you to be able to learn more about your place using stories of old, which refer to places in their old names. So one of these tools include a link to the Hawaii State GIS program, where you can put your address in and it'll tell you what ahupua'a you live in. So these are really cool tools that help folks to be excited about their place and feeling more close to Hawaii as a whole. There's like step by step how to use the program. And then there are ethnographic studies that go into detail about the different ahupua'a and the different moku that are also linked in. This is the Zero Waste Hawaii Island Kilo activity. So again, these are like low or zero waste activities to get folks to be really interested in reducing their waste because of their love of land. And so this is an activity that families can do together. This is the chore chart that I talked about earlier. Things that families can do besides buying toys and plastic things that will only end up in the landfill.
Mm.
So these activities go to address those things. And then there are just other things here. There are some quotes from some of the interviewees that we interviewed who are currently houseless. They had some really beautiful insight about the program and zero waste initiatives in general. And then there's some information about governance. And I'm sorry, this is going to be a little bit like I'm scrolling really quickly. But these are some of the interviewees that we interviewed. I see Uncle Sam is here, and I think aloha, Uncle. Can you hear me, Uncle Sam?
Um, can you hear me,
I can
Kule?
hear you now. Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah, so I can hear you, but Auntie and I, we're not really tech savvy.
No worries.
But Kule, I gotta say this.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with the information that you've presented so far tonight. I wish you folks a whole lot of luck. And for those of you that don't know me, I worked for the County of Hawaii for 30 years. Uh, 20, about 21 and about 21, no, 20, 28 and a half of those years was with the solid waste division. And the main thing that I want to say, everybody, is Kule and her fellow people that are really involved in what is basically what we all want to do. and that's to reduce the trash that we generate. But it takes everyone's heart to be a part of it because um, people just too busy. They're busy. To them, trash is trash. But we got to realize now. When I was working, I was very very fortunate. I had the Hilo landfill. Today, they haul all of our East Hawaii trash to Pu'anuhulu, which is extremely costly. So forgive me if I don't say too much, but out of respect for the men and women that are taking care of our trash today, I don't want to really learn too much mana'o because I was blessed to have opportunities and I had resources that are a very hardworking Department of Environmental Management personnel they do not have.
Mhm.
So if I don't say too much, it's because I have too much aloha for my fellow workers. And I realized that I was blessed to have a landfill right in my backyard.
Mhm.
These guys got to go on the other side of the island and know how the trash. So the main thing is knowing that if we throw these recyclable things into the trash, it's only going to generate more need for more trucks to haul the trash, which is not trash.
Mhm.
It can be dealt with in a responsible way. But
Mhm.
thank you for letting me share, and God bless you all.
God bless you, Uncle, and mahalo. Mahalo, Piha, for sharing. I feel so honored that you're joining us in person, or virtually in person. Mahalo for sharing your manao, and we're so honored to have you as one of our interviewees. Um, we also have Kukawa and Tutu Jerry and Brother Yancy depicted here. But so we're just so grateful to each of the interviewees who have inspired the generation of this work, and just encouraging each of you to check it out at your convenience, you know. Um, okay, back to the back to the let's see. Back to this slideshow. Well, mahalo for joining me as we were able to oh wait, we're here. Can you see my screen? Can you folks see my screen?
Can
Yes, we see the toolkit review slide.
Okay, review slideshow. Perfect. Okay, so that's the toolkit review. So we're in the process now of considering what a name for the system could and should be. So I want to share the naming process that we've been through thus far, and then get your folks' feedback on the kind of final name proposals that we've come up with. So these are some of the name concepts that we considered. Lightweight, evolve, rooted, brightfield. These are some of the things that were suggested in the surveys that we put out before. Um, you can look through the slideshow. Quick pick, will be good to go, which is like a play on the word to go, you know. Everclean, Snapware, Nourish, Return It, Careware, like a Care Bear with a W. Friendly Serve, Easy Plate, Zero Waste Reuse, Perk Pack. So those are interesting English names that were suggested. Some of the Hawaiian concepts were that were suggested include the words Hawaii, Ho'i Hawaii, Kupono, Ho'ai'e, Mauloa, Malamaware, Kule, Kokuaware, Kokua Cycle, Kokua Ai, Moku Loop, Vai Loop, Aloha Serve, Aina Friendly, Hui, 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 Ho'i Ho'i. I think that was another awesome term that was suggested. But when we were looking at the English and Hawaiian name concepts, Zero Waste Hawaii Island chose to really look at the Hawaiian terms. I think just in alignment with some of the values that we have as an organization, we were hoping to be able to perpetuate the Hawaiian language in the naming process, and also we were interested in modeling some of the existing programs that are were recently or are like long standing. For example, can anyone think of any Hawaiian word program? For example, Huaka'i. Hawaiian Airlines just started this Huaka'i program, and it's called Huaka'i. And it's like if you are a Hawaii resident, you have flight benefits that are different from folks who are not Hawaii residents. But that program is called the Huaka'i program. Can anyone think of any other Hawaiian name programs that are familiar to us? Perhaps a program from maybe Foodland.
What is that for? My kite.
My KAI program.
Maikai. Yeah, Maikai rewards. Yeah, aloha auntie. Yes, so there's Maikai rewards.
Huh?
There's the Kamaaina rewards, that live everywhere. The
This
Cow card, there's all these different Hawaiian terms that these organizations also chose to go with the Hawaiian word, but also in a way that was friendly for all, not just only Hawaiians. So that's beautiful, and we were hoping to go and move forward in alignment with that. So we took these proposed names, and there are two Hawaiian words that go really well with the spirit of what was proposed in the name workshops and surveys. I mean, the name surveys that we put out before. Those names are ho'i and po'ai. So the term ho'i, anybody know the word ho'i?
what
Like
is what my comment?
ho'i, it means to return, to leave and come back, to pause to come back, ho'i ho, or ho'i loa, to go or come permanently. E ho'i anao, I'm leaving, o ho'i, e ho'i mai, a ole e ho'i ko wahine ia mauhana. This is the dictionary definition that's given. But also there's the ho'i at the end of a hula dance. So when they say ho'i, it means they're going to leave the stage now. So they get there and then they ho'i back, they return. So the term ho'i, though, it means to return. So when we were looking at the Hawaiian language, reusable foodware is an English term, but when you look at it from a Hawaiian perspective, most foodware is reusable. Even this. This is reusable. My family, we use these about 50 times before we throw it away. So all the foodware is reusable. But the thing that makes this different is your ability to return it. So it's returnable foodware. So the word for returnable foodware is hokeo hoi hoi. So there's that concept of it going out and then coming back, going out and coming back. So that's the word hoi and what that means. Also, there is this thing called the kanavai or these edicts, and there are five, I think, kanavai. This document was put together by the Edith Kanakaole Foundation, I believe.
Yeah,
And I can send you folks the link to that. But this one kanavai, it says he ki ho'i ho'i kanavai.
this is Rocky.
And it's related to regeneration. So the greening of a new flow by Hi'iaka, restoration of landscapes. When allowed the opportunity, land, ocean, and kanaka return to health. It is the law of action. So Uncle, I think you're still not muted, but I don't think you mean for us to hear all your manao that you're saying right now. Is that correct?
You can still hear me.
I can still hear you, Uncle.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I think there's a way that I can. Okay, yeah, now I can hear you. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Mahalo. So ho'i is that the ki ho'i ho'i kanawai is related to the restoration, like the coming back of the environment after it's been over harvested or over littered or over polluted. Ho'i is a word that relates to the ability for that same land to regenerate and to come back to life. So that's the mana'o behind that word. And then we have po'ai, and po'ai is a little bit of a longer word. So we have this process which allows us to look at the different words in that word. So there's po and then there's I, right? But anyway, this is the next name that was proposed of the two. Po I simply translates to circle. Po I means circle, like he po ai keia. This is a circle. When children are young in preschool, they talk about po ai, hui na kolu, hui na ha, po ai. It just means circle. So simply translates to circle, but is closely associated with the word pohai and other words that hold significant meaning in the context of coming together with other people. So pohai with the diacritical marks, pohai without the diacritical marks, they there's just a real relationship to the concept of coming together in circularity. Also, when you're looking at the concept of something going, being put out, you go to your house, then you return it back, and then it goes back to the restaurant. That's a circular process as well, you know. So po'ai relates to a circle, a group of friends, a circuit, or to surround something. This might be relevant to people coming together to pupa'akai or to eat together. Pohai, it means group, like a group of people or a group of trees or a gathering. And this might relate to affection and seeing Aina as people too, like really honoring both that trees have a system of life and people have a system of life. Um, and so I'm just gonna flip through these, but there's some really there's lots of depth to the word po'ai, also to the word po, also to the word ai. So we have these things here that you can see. When it comes to the word ai, it means food or a food plant. It also means points, like how many points did you get in your game? Ai is also the word for point. And then when we're looking at other considerations, po'ai is a four-letter word. It's simple, relatively easy to pronounce with potential for graphic simplicity and creativity. And there's a clear play on the word ai as it relates to food, and then a clear relationship between the word po'ai and a culture of circularity and reuse. So also po'ai does well to kind of summarize a lot of the suggestions that came in the first time. Po'ai does well to do that. And so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen briefly so that I can pull up some of the actually I think it's okay if I just share. So I'm very thankful that Selena is with us. Thanks for being here, Selena. Selena is the person who helped us with she's helping us with the naming process as Perpetual has done in other cities, and she's helped to put out these surveys to ask people about their thoughts. Some folks, there were a few people who took the surveys who don't prefer the name to be a Hawaiian name. Um, because it might be difficult to pronounce. There are other folks who say that if you don't have um, like if your name doesn't clearly say who you are or what you do. Wait, can you folks still hear me? Oh no. Can you hear me still?
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks for joining back.
Where did I lose you?
You were discussing Selena's process and the responses that we received
Okay. Okay.
regarding some people not wanting a Hawaiian name.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so some people don't want a Hawaiian name because they say that it might be difficult for some people to pronounce. And other folks say that if you don't clearly say what who you are and what you do in your name, then the program won't be successful. So with just 15 minutes left in our time together, I'm interested in what you folks think about the names that were proposed. If you folks have a preference, oh shucks, my video is frozen. Okay, I'll try to turn it off. Can you folks hear me if I turn my video off like this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, maybe that'll be better. So the so yeah, so I'm hoping to get some feedback about what you folks think about the two words, the two names, if there's a preference, if there are hesitations to go with either of the names. I prefer, I don't want to tell you what I prefer because it might bias your opinion. But yeah, does anyone have any thoughts or any perspectives on that?
Cool, this is Uncle Sam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Uncle.
Yeah, no, being Hawaiian, I would appreciate a Hawaiian name, but also, um, honestly feel that there's a lot of people that would not understand the concept of Hawaiian name. So I'm fine if it's more popular to have it, a name where everybody will understand the purpose. But that's just my personal thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do you think how do you feel about the way that the Maikai reward system and the Huakai rewards program, do you have any thoughts about that? Because I think those are also Hawaiian words. Would you agree that those programs are recognizable, friendly, or um maybe successful in the ways that they're named?
Oh yes, I definitely do. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing that I'm thinking about in this case is going to require, it's our choice of what store we go to, right? The
Mm-hmm.
sales are, but we're trying to generate the island to participate in this very important program. Um, Maybe we should just take it to a vote, but for me, I understand that as Hawaiian, we'd like to keep the culture in it,
Mm-hmm.
and we want everybody to participate. Some people might not just understand, but again, like I said, it's just my opinion as a kupuna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My kai car, but honestly, Auntie and I, we just shop wherever the deals
Yeah,
are
yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah, us too.
Whether it's Hawaiian or it could be, you know, German or whatever, we're just going for the
Yes,
price.
yes, kako. Me too. Me too.
Mahalo. Thank you for letting me share.
No, mahalo to you. So is it your manao that you're not opposed to a Hawaiian term and you're not opposed to an English term?
Yeah, actually, when you explain, the definition of po'ai, I think it's so wonderful
Mm.
to return, right? Um, but because we're Hawaiian, and I don't speak Hawaiian, but my granddaughters are fluent in it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
When they talk to us, when they explain to us the definition, and then it hits home for me because my dad couldn't speak English until he was 8 years old. But when we would listen, if they didn't want us to understand, and I just sharing, they talk in Hawaiian. And I asked my dad, Dad, how come you're not like us? How come you don't teach us? And this is what he told us, but this was years ago, 50, 60 years ago. He said, because you folks going to live in the holy world. And that's the law that you folks going, live by. So his thoughts was learn the way we're going to live and assimilate
mm,
society that we belong in. So that's how I grew up. That my dad would speak to us in English, and then when he was with my grandma folks, they speak in Hawaiian.
mm,
Only because my dad knew that at 8 years old, when he had to learn English from speaking fully Hawaiian, he struggled.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
My dad only went to the 8th grade because
mm,
he couldn't make it, and that's why he wanted us to be proficient in English. So I understand the importance of both worlds, both cultures.
mm,
But in respect to the larger population that might understand more in English, I fully understand.
mm-hmm,
What we want to do is want to get everybody to participate in this much needed, very important program.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, mahalo, Uncle, for your manao. I see that we have hands raised from Ellen and then Tara. Ellen, do you have thoughts?
Yes, I do. Mahalo, Uncle Sam. I appreciate hearing your perspective. And I was going to say, with your granddaughters being raised speaking Hawaiian, I personally, as a kupuna myself, and not fluent in Hawaiian, but I would like to see the Hawaiian word or phrase or whatever it is that we're going to choose, because we have now probably, we were talking about this the other day in a meeting, we have probably three generations of young people who have graduated from Hawaiian immersion, and they're speaking it. So I don't see a problem with having a Hawaiian word or phrase. I would prefer that myself.
Mhm.
Mahalo.
Thank you. I fully understand. I fully understand. The only reason that I speak this way is because, very honestly, when I supervise the East Hawaii solid waste operations, and this is a very sincere message, the people that really appreciated our waste removal system was the visitors. They're the ones that asked. In fact, I also used to have calls that, where's the toll booth? They couldn't believe that you could go to the transfer station and get rid of your trash for free. And they're the ones that used to volunteer to go pick up around trash around the station, and they appreciated it. But honestly, for us growing up here, we take things for granted, and that's why this is really important for us to get everybody together. But I fully agree. If you would ask me personally, I'd like to have a name. But
Mm.
being involved directly in solid waste operations for almost 30 years, I know that you know there needs to be a real commitment to environmental, taking care of the environment. And honestly, some of our younger generations, such as us, we take our land and our ocean for granted. But again, I like to put it to a popularity, and I really have no problem. But I fully agree with you. I would like to have a Hawaiian name. But thank you for letting me share.
Mahalo. I want to hear Tara's mana'o, but I also want to launch this poll. So I'm gonna um I'm gonna launch this poll, and the poll asks, because also it's an option for us also to do an English tag. So po'ai reuse, or po'ai reusable foodware program, or po'ai for I think Selena suggested something really she had a good idea, and it was po'ai returnables or something like that. So I'm gonna launch this survey, and it's just to get a gauge of where we're at now that we know a little bit about po'ai, we know a little bit about ho'i. um I want to see, or kind of like measure where we're at and what we prefer as individuals. And I just want to, propose this before I ask Tara to share her mana'o. So I'm going to launch this poll so you folks can do it. It might be difficult to do on the phone. Um, but hopefully if you can see it, you can take it. But if not, no worries. And the question is asked. So you can go ahead and answer if you're able. And then po'ai. Tara, do you have mana'o? Thank you for your patience.
Aloha and mahalo nui for all your work and your effort. And I was just gonna say, just like what your poll, perfect timing, probably like a po'ai and then a tag. So either like po'ai exchange or what you even just said, po'ai reusable foodware program. So one of those maybe. And will you be doing, I guess, more, of course, the education on the makawalu, the kauna of po'ai?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. That's the idea. I I I envision that the service providers would be able to, have an informational website where they could take some of this information and share about the name. But I also envision that Zero Waste Hawaii Island can maybe do some curriculum and or educational programs, like workshops maybe around the term po'ai, even once it's established, or educational videos, like a brief thing. Maybe they can scan the QR code and they can share like what po'ai is and what it means, and the kauna of it and why and things like that.
I love it and I love the whole thing. And I was just gonna say my original thought was like ho'i, and then the little one was like he liked po'ai. And as you described it, just I liked it. But I would just like to say at the end of the poll or towards the end, are you gonna share with us your preference?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
my preference is po'ai. My
po'ai,
preference is
okay.
po'ai. Mahalo for asking. Yes, yes. So there were two people that chose po'ai without the diacritics. Is anyone interested if you chose that option? If you chose without the diacritics, if you would want to share why you chose without the diacritics? Or if you did it on accident and just meant either?
I'm one of them.
Oh,
Kool-Aid.
okay.
This is Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because you've educated us so well. And one of the things you said and being a retired academic librarian, I can relate to this because I remember seeing and reading the old Hawaiian language newspapers on microfilm. They did not have diacritical marks.
Mm-hmm.
And so unless you have the correct okina or the keyboard that will allow you to have the okina, then it becomes an apostrophe. And as you have told us, it's like a separate letter. And
Mm-hmm.
so without it, it's the way that the old Hawaiian language newspapers were written without the diacriticals. That was my preference. So I'm doing it based on your teachings.
Mahalo, mahalo, Ellen. Yeah, kako. Does anybody, so I see that two people did not participate in the survey. Or maybe eight, nine, 10, 11, maybe four people did not participate. But I'm wondering if anybody just didn't see the survey, or if you wanna have a vote in but didn't see it technically pop up on your literal computer. Okay, maybe no. I just want to make sure that everyone had an opportunity to share your vote. So in sharing these results, there was an option for staff so that staff didn't have to vote. But most popular was po'ai, either with or without the diacritics, which is my favorite. But so I really thank each of you for joining us. I know we're at the hour, but I really mahalo you for making this time to learn a bit about the community updates, and then also to learn about the toolkit, and then also to share a little bit about your thoughts on the names. I I hope that you can correct me if I'm wrong, but does anybody feel, and you can put in the chat as well, does anybody feel that that the name should not be ho'i or po'ai, and that it should be something else? Um, I'm interested in hearing if there are any objections to the name po'ai. Because we have an in-person meeting tomorrow, and I'd like to share with them the insights from today. So I'm going to share toward the end of the meeting that the majority of folks in our virtual meeting prefer the term po'ai, either with or without the diacritics. Is anybody in objection to that insight? Speak now or forever. No, just kidding. Okay, no objections are observed. The motion is carried. I'm just kidding. Uncle Sam, I see that you say I'm fine with what was decided. So we still have yet to figure out the tagline, whether it's returnables or reusables or however it is, But I really thank and honor each of you from Kauai High to Kona to Hilo to where, I don't know, maybe Autumn is in Florida to, I don't know, maybe Selena. Selena, I can't remember where you are in the world.
Virginia.
Virginia, Virginia. So from Kauai High, all the way to Virginia, including Hilo, I just give all of my aloha to each of you, and I thank you. Also to Tara, who is probably in Eva. I think you're probably in Ku'ilioloa, Eva.
Hi.
Right? Wait, did you have an opportunity to share your mana'o
For the name?
when you raised your hand? Yeah, you shared, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
Mahalo
need to
nui.
know. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have any additional thoughts. And so with that, I'm just very grateful. I'm gonna stay on to see I think Jay, thank you for being on camera earlier. I really appreciated that opportunity that I had to answer some of the questions that you've had, and I hope we can stay in touch if you have any other questions moving forward. And uh if I wasn't as comprehensive in the answers I gave today, maybe we can, come together offline and talk more. But I just appreciate each of you. I'm going to stay on if anyone has any more questions. Again, this meeting was recorded and we're going to use it to share with other community folks that are interested in learning about this process and hearing some of the feedback. So mahalo to each of you, and I will see you in the future. You can stay current with what's happening in the system by visiting zerowastehi.org. That's the Zero Waste Hawaii Island website. And I will do a follow-up email with you folks over the next few days to share links to the toolkit and also to the slide deck that I shared today. And then I'll also include the link to our organization's website. So unless anybody has any questions, I just thank you and give you folks all of my aloha for handling my clumsiness technologically in the beginning. And I thank you all. Mahalo and see you when I see you. Ahui ho.
I
Bye.
Thank you,
did have
everyone.
I did have a question.
Yes, yes.
In general, the program, if I understand this right, when people do takeout,
Mhm.
they'll be paying this whatever amount of deposit or a fee, and then they take the containers and then put them back in a bin someplace without getting that fee back.
Yeah, so I love that question. So we had a system design workshops with the Hilo community kind of long ago, like a few months ago, but the results from that process were that folks what would be most feasible if folks don't have to pay when they're checking out, but if they are billed for not returning their item. So the
Oh,
idea is that perhaps I use a debit card often. I would be able to initially not pay anything to use the reusable foodware system, but if I don't return it within 7 to 15 days, it'll charge me the cost of the reusable.
it sounds like a great. I mean, I appreciate all the work you guys have done, and I can see you've gone into depth. The toolkit looks great, but I'm just thinking of the actual process.
Hmm.
And if these containers, if they don't turn them back, I mean, if there's that understanding, if they know from the beginning, so nobody gets pissed off about their debit cards being charged or something, are the fees? I mean, what that's what I was thinking. What's going to stop somebody from hanging on to this nice container?
Hmm. It's that they have to pay the cost of the container if they don't return it. Yeah, and so that's ideally what will pull them and push them to return the thing is not wanting to buy it, outright. Um, does that make sense? I'm really grateful
Yes,
for your questions.
yes it does, and totally. I'm coming from the business side, and I just think of the whoever's managing this program. Is it going to pencil out? Are the funds Is it going to be sustainable? And that's what I guess what I'm concerned about. And it sounds like you may need to increase that fee if they don't return it enough to handle administrative stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I think it's meant to be clear so that they don't feel gypped in that they didn't return it and they think it's theirs. It's meant to be clear in the system, the way that it works. Um, and I think that Ellen, I see your hand. But I just wanted to say that the idea is that folks can use it without the idea is that the system is accessible, to anyone. And I
Yeah.
hope I can't remember if this was discussed in the system design process, but I hope that someone would be able to like buy a gift card and if they don't have to, they can pay cash to have the card, and but the funds will stay on the card unless they return it. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's something that's possible, but I
No, you guys are thinking about it. I appreciate your answer and a little more details. So thank you.
no, thank you. Your interest is very admirable. I'm so thankful because we've done a lot of work in this realm, and um it makes me feel like you're paying attention and you're interested. Thank you, Jay. Ellen, do you have thoughts?
Yes, Jay, what I was going to suggest is that, are you getting our newsletter,
Yes, I think
Jay?
so. I get somebody's newsletters, the Reuse
Okay.
Hawaii.
Uh, is it the one that says perpetual and reuse in Hilo? No. Anyway,
I
some of
I
these
must
questions that
I
you're
must
asking.
be I must be on your list because I got the notice about this, and so I
Okay.
must be on your mailing list.
Okay, good. Because some of the questions that you ask, like the last issue, not the current one, but the previous one, was all about scale. And your first question was,
Okay.
how is it going to be sustainable? And there was Jennifer and
Okay.
Ku'ule did a nice job on describing what the importance is of scale. We have to have scale. You
Yes.
can't have 10% or 20% or even 50% of items returned. It has to be close to 90. So
Yeah.
that's why we're doing so much of this community involvement and engagement,
Okay,
um,
great.
is
Great. I
trying to get.
appreciate that. I'll look through the newsletter.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Mahalo.
you.
Yeah, I'm most excited about the community work that we have coming up. So we received some funding to, do workshops with children about collaborations with in collaboration with local farmers. And ideally we'll be able to share about the system. And it reminds me of the plastic bag situation where children were like, we have to bring our bags, we have to save the earth, like they were so involved and interested because of what they learned in school and the outreach that was done, that the children are now encouraging the adults and the family members to participate in the system. So we're hoping to take a comprehensive approach to being able to get this system accepted and really functional in the community. So to achieve that scale. But yeah, mahalo, Jay. So I'm gonna stop recording now and just mahalo to each of you. Autumn, you can feel free. I know it's so late where you are, Autumn, and I think Selena may have logged off. But anyone who's interested to log off now, you can. But I think Tara is willing to share about the ways she's using the toolkit in her classroom. So I'm gonna stay on to learn a little bit about that. I'd love to see that, Tara. And thank you for your willingness to share. But to each of you who are engaged in other commitments, mahalo for being here, and I appreciate you all. Aloha. And Tara, are you with us? Oh wait, let me stop recording.